All right, have a seat, cross your legs in the center of your shins, feet beneath your knees as best as they get there. Shoulders over your hips, resting your hands lightly on your thighs with your upper arms in line with your side ribs. Notice if your front ribs are pushing forward, draw your front ribs towards the back body. It helps to take the top of the buttocks down, not doing any sort of pelvic tilt, but when you take the top of the buttocks down, that creates some room for the front bottom ribs to go back. Balance evenly on the sits bones. Lengthen through the inner thighs, from the inner thighs through the inner knees, also from the inner thighs back towards the lower abdomen. The whole groin's lengthening. And descend the flesh of the inner thighs. Draw from your outer knees to your outer hips. Compact the hips together. And you want to have this general idea of a moving inward. So the skin, we're still on the legs right now, so the skin moves to the flesh. The flesh moves to the muscle. The muscle moves to the bone. And that's the whole circumference. It's not just that the part of the leg that's facing out is going inward, but the what we call the outer thighs, the front of the thighs, and you're going inward, but also the inner thighs and the back of the thighs are also moving inward. The skin moves to the flesh moves to the muscle moves to the bone. Find the lengthening through the side ribs. Lengthen through the inner arms, from the armpits to the inner elbows. And as you allow the inner arms to lengthen, let your shoulders drop away from your ears. See is if as you do that, you can seek an evenness on the two sides of the body. Noticing how one side is very likely shorter than the other right now. And can you find length in that side without collapsing the other side? So without just turning, but finding an equalness in both sides. And then allowing the elbows to draw down as you touch your palms together. And with the arms too here, there's not a lot of muscle work going on, but can you still have the idea that the skin is moving towards the flesh, that the flesh is moving towards the muscle, and that the muscle is moving towards the bone? Gently resting your eyes into your cheekbones to gaze at the seat of your heart, the seat of your soul. And let's chant the syllable Om 3 times together. Exhaling completely. Deep inhalation. Lifting your sternum towards the ceiling, lower your chin towards your heart. Release your hands onto your thighs with your palms up. With your eyes closed, raise your head, and from the back of your head, gently let your eyelids open. Straighten your legs. So you can choose whether you want to lift or whether you want to be on the floor. Balance evenly on the sits bones, press the thighs down. Lengthen through the inner thighs, right? There's still the drawing from the upper inner thighs back towards the abdomen, and then we lengthen out through the inner knee, through the inner heel. The flesh of the inner thighs descend, draw from the outer knees to the outer hips. And here, these muscles are working. They're quite strong. Move the skin to the flesh to the muscle to the bone. The bone then squeezes the marrow inside, so the bone actually squeezes also. Watch those front bottom ribs, draw those into the body as you lengthen up through the side ribs, again seeking an evenness on the two sides. The upper arms rotate out. And here the arms are actually working. If you straighten your arms, so begin to straighten your arms. I don't always teach this with the straight pose. Don't lift the shoulders, right? And I'm going to go on the floor just so you can see my arms a little better because I can model it better. And if your shoulders lift, then don't strain your arms. Just don't worry about this part. But as you straighten the arms, get the legs, and then as you straighten the arms, the shoulder, you actually want the shoulders to begin to move down. And then it's the same action of they're very strong now, right? So there's a lengthening of the inner arm drawn from the outer elbow to the shoulder. So you're mirroring the legs. And then move the skin to the flesh to the muscle to the bone. And what you're doing is you're giving, and you can do it off the floor too. It's just when you have that pressure on the floor, it's a little bit more there, but you don't need the floor to do it. You don't need the floor to squeeze the flesh to the muscle. Excuse me, the skin to the flesh to the muscle to the bone. And what you're doing is you're giving signals to the bone to create density so that the bones don't continue to grow weaker, or should probably say get weaker more slowly. I can't say they're not going to get weaker as we age, but this can help them get weaker more slowly, or maybe prevent it, maybe reverse it. Not a doctor. I feel I always have to put in that disclaimer these days. Separate your legs. Again, you decide. You're more comfortable on a lift today, you're more comfortable on the floor today. You want your kneecaps and your toes to be up. So for most of us, that means turn the thighs in. So take a look at your legs. Look at them. And look at them for two things. One is, and I know as I looked, I noticed my right foot was just a hair back of my left foot when I could compare them to the floorboard line. So I moved, not, and when I say right in this case, I'm not mirroring. So see that they're on the same plane. And then turn them in such a way that the kneecap is up and the toes are up, pointing straight up at the ceiling, fingertips or hands by your hips. And then the actions are the same. So press the tops of the thighs down. Don't just press the knees down, but press the tops of the thighs down. Find the lengthening in the inner leg all the way out through the inner heels, through the balls of the big toes. The flesh of the inner thighs descend. Draw from your outer knees to your outer hips. Compact your hips together. And then move the skin to the flesh. Don't just start with the muscle. Move the skin to the flesh. And then move the flesh onto the muscle. Squeeze it. And there's an outer muscle and an inner muscle. On that inner muscle, that's the inner muscle squeezes the bone. Now lift up through the side ribs. Do the same with the arms. Right? So drawing from the outer elbow to the shoulder. Move the skin to the flesh. Flesh to the muscle. Muscle to the bone. And then see if you can truly spread your awareness to do the legs and the arms at the same time. Squeezing the skin to the flesh, flesh to the muscle, muscle to the bone on both arms and both legs. Take your hands on the inside of your knees. Pull straight up. Take your legs together. If you're on the floor, you can take your hands beneath your feet. If you are on a lift, you can take a strap, place that underneath your feet. If you're on the floor with your hands underneath your feet, make sure you're not pulling your feet up, but you're pushing your feet into your hands and your hands into the floor. Balance evenly on the sits bones. Press the heels together. So lengthen the inner thighs, the inner groins, and draw from the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips together. Start there. And can you use the skin to squeeze the flesh? Just the very outer layers. So on the outside it's the skin, and underneath the skin there's flesh. And then use that flesh to squeeze the muscles. And then use those muscles to squeeze the bones. Lengthen through the side ribs. Do the same with the arms. Draw from the outer elbows to the shoulders. Move the skin to the flesh. Actually squeezing the flesh. Allow the flesh to squeeze the muscle. Use the muscle to squeeze the bone. This is the more advanced work. I know we're doing the same poses we often do, but this is the more advanced work. I wouldn't do this in a class of beginners. I mean, Laura's new to me, but she's doing a teacher training, so she has practice. And everyone else has been with me for plenty of time. And can you ensure that you're spreading, or at least attempting to spread the awareness between the arms and the legs so that the arms and legs are working? And notice what effects this work has on the breath and the brain as well, or the breath and the mind. Release. Take your hands on the outside of your knees, push your legs together. Hold behind one knee. Take, there are two strands there. Take one in each hand, draw the flesh towards the buttocks, drag the heel, straighten the leg. Other leg, draw the flesh towards the buttock, drag the heel, straighten the leg. Back to Dandasana. So immediately, once you get here, hopefully it's already done even before I say it. Lengthen the inner legs. Draw from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips. Lengthen through the inner arms. Draw from the outer elbows to the shoulders. Watch the shoulders, Bob. Move the shoulders away from your ears. That's it. That's the one. And then move the skin to the flesh. Arms and legs. Flesh to the muscle. Squeezing. Muscle to the bone. Squeezing. Arms and legs. Both arms, both legs. Notice which leg does it, which doesn't. Which arm does it, which doesn't. And can you use an awareness, the muscle of awareness, to find an evenness between the four limbs? And release. Come onto your hands and knees. Of course, if you're using a chair or blocks for downward facing dog, take what you need. Spread the fingers wide, first finger pointing forward. Press down through the balls of the first finger and thumb as you rotate the upper arms out. So started here certainly with the arms. Push into the floor to lengthen through the inner arms. And then move the skin to the flesh, both the upper arm and the forearm. Upper arms and forearms, right? Both arms. Skin to the flesh, flesh to the muscle, muscle to the bone. And then maintain as much as you can, understanding that you know, as you put more pressure on and straighten the legs, we might lose something. But keep your awareness there, turn your toes under, straighten your legs. And then reestablish. Push into the floor, press through the balls of the first finger and thumb. Rotate the arms out. Move the skin to the flesh, flesh to the muscle, muscle to the bone. And then push it into the floor to lift and lengthen. Exhale, come into downward facing dog, thighs back, chest towards your thighs, sit bones towards the ceiling. Lengthen through the inner arms. Draw from your outer elbows to your shoulders, press your thighs back. Yeah, just watch your knees, Laura. Make sure you're pressing the thighs, not just the shins. Press those thighs back. Lengthen through the inner legs, inner knees through the inner groins, outer knees to outer hips. Compact the hips together. All that is there. Outer heels down, outer hips up. And now in your arms and your legs, can you squeeze the skin to the flesh? The flesh to the muscles to the bone. Laura, take your front bottom ribs towards your back body. The front bottom ribs. Move back. Yeah, yeah. Because you're sinking in your lower back. Look up, walk your feet forward, forward bend, Uttanasana. Hold your elbows. Press the thigh, balance evenly on the feet. Start there. Press the thigh bones back. Lift from the inner knees to the inner groins. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Move your hips towards the ceiling. Let your skull release. Move your hips towards the ceiling. And let your torso fall over your thighs. Now, especially with the legs, there's weight bearing going on the legs. Move the skin to the flesh, flesh to the muscle, muscle to the bone, bone to the marrow. And if you can sense it in your arms, it's not weight bearing, so it's going to be a little different, but you can still squeeze the skin to the flesh, flesh to the muscle, muscle to the bones in your arms. Let your arms go, hands on the floor, walk your feet back, downward facing dog. Thighs back. Press through the balls of the first finger and thumbs. Rotate the upper arms out. Lengthen through the inner arms, armpits, and side ribs. Everyone move your front bottom ribs towards the back body. Take the shoulder blades towards the front body. So not saying round the upper back. The shoulder blades move into the body as if you're doing a back bend. Take the front bottom ribs towards your back body. The lower back is a forward bend. Take the front bottom ribs towards your back body. Take your abdomen, roll it in your tailbone, and press your thighs back even more. And extend your outer heels down as you lift your outer hips up. And then spreading the awareness throughout your body, move the skin to the flesh, flesh to the muscle, muscle to the bone, bone, squeezing the marrow. Look up, walk your feet forward, forward bend, Uttanasana, hold your elbows the opposite way. Balance evenly on the feet. Legs straight, you can always widen your feet. Lifting from the outer knees to the outer hips, lengthening from the inner knees to the inner groins. The flesh of the inner thighs moving back. Now, as you compact the hips together, can you find a broadening across the sacral band? Can you find a broadening and a widening across the lower back? And even a broadening and a widening across the mid back and the upper back. Allowing the muscles of the back, giving them permission to let go. Let your skull release. But at the same time as you spread the back, can you move, especially in the arms and legs, the skin to the flesh to the muscle, muscle to the bone. Let your arms go. Sweep your arms back. Take your torso parallel to the floor. Extend your arms back as you press the thighs back, chest forward. Inhale, come up. Turn to the front. Feet together, or if you prefer feet hip distance apart into Tadasana, that's fine. Balance evenly on the feet. Let's do feet hip distance apart, everybody. And take the outer edges of your feet parallel to each other. So look at your feet, there's an inner edge, right? So if the inner edges of your feet are parallel to each other, then your pinky toes kind of go out to the sides, right? And if the outer edges of your feet are parallel to each other, then your big toes move inward, right? Make sense? Have the outer edges of your feet parallel to each other so the toes point inward a little bit. It begins to spread the lower back. And also it turns the thighs in. And what's one of the instructions that we give is turn the thighs in. So balance evenly on the feet, press the thigh bones back, lengthen from the inner knees through the lower abdomen, lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. The flesh of the inner thighs moves back. Really compact the hips together. Squeeze the skin to the flesh, flesh to the muscle, muscle to the bone. I should have said that more slowly. Move the skin to the flesh. Just that. Move the flesh to the muscle. Just that. And now move the muscles to the bone.
Jonathan, I want to share something.
Yes.
You are explaining pack the hips. I did. It lot of opening in this upper body, and it was a great feeling. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. So she
Yeah.
says she compacts the hips. She gets an opening in the upper body. Yes,
Thank
it's all connected. And believe me, it took me years of yoga to figure out that the body was really connected, like they taught me in 3rd grade. Thank you for that, Chaya. So moving the skin to the flesh, flesh to the muscle, muscle to the bone. Now keep the front bottom ribs towards the back body, lengthen through the side ribs, extend through the arms. The arms here work as hard as the legs. As hard as your legs are working is what the arms are doing. So lengthening through the inner arms, drawing from the outer elbows to the shoulders, moving the skin to the flesh, flesh to the muscle, muscle to the bone. Squeezing the legs, squeezing the arms. Take your arms out to the sides, drop your shoulders, rotate your arms up. Take the front bottom ribs towards the back body. Squeeze the skin to the flesh, arms and legs, flesh to the muscle, muscle to the bone. Maintain that, take the arms up, shoulders down as the arms up. So there's a lengthening of the inner legs, a lengthening of the inner arms. There's a drawing of the outer knees, from the outer knees to the outer hips, compact the hips, draw from the outer elbows to the shoulders. And can you spread the awareness to the arms and the legs? Definitely the arms here because we're working the shoulders, so we really need this in the arms. Moving the skin to the flesh, flesh to the muscle, muscle to the bone. Do rotate the upper arms inward, the triceps towards your nose. Turn your hands out to the sides. Exhale, come down. Take a block. Now, when you come back after getting the block, you need to do so mindfully. So that means you need to look at your feet and go, how were my feet set up today? And we were doing the outer sides of the feet parallel. So you have to reset that up. Now, your hand is bigger than the block, but you're going to imagine that the block is the size of your hand. So that you're going to squeeze the block with your hand when you take it up. And even when I got the wooden blocks, I got the light ones. When I started yoga for shoulders, they had the heavy wooden blocks, and I had to hold it above my head, stare at a clock for 2 minutes. No, I didn't drop it, but if I wanted to. All right. Anyway, thighs back. Lift the outer knees to the outer hips, lengthen through the inner groin. Arms forward, watch those ribs. Squeeze the block, take the arms up. Squeeze the block. Push the block up, push the block towards the ceiling. Straighten the elbows, push the block towards the ceiling, and then squeeze it, crush it, crush it, crush it. And you feel your muscles awaken, yes? Shoulders down though. And now on the arms and the legs, move the skin to the flesh, flesh to the muscle, muscle to the bone. Imagine you're enjoying this. And take the arms down. Put the block down. Arms forward, arms up. There's an imaginary block there. Now notice with the block, your hands had to be parallel to each other too, right? So you want that. Squeeze your imaginary block. Squeeze the block. Squeeze it. Now go back to legs. Bounce evenly on your feet. Lengthen through the inner groins. Lift your outer knees to outer hips. Compact the hips together. Lengthen through the side ribs. Extend through the inner arms. Draw from your outer elbows to your shoulders. Now arms and legs. You're squeezing that block. Squeeze the skin to the flesh. Flesh to the muscle. Muscle to the bone. Arms and legs. Squeeze that imaginary block. Turn your hands out to the sides. Exhale, come down. Right into Tadasana. So your legs are still squeezing. Your arms are still squeezing too. They just shifted positions. So still lengthening the inner legs, lengthening the inner arms. Drawing from the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips. Drawing from the outer elbows to the shoulders. Arms and legs moving the skin to the flesh. Flesh to the muscle. Muscle to the bone. Take your feet together. Utthita Trikonasana, triangle pose. Fingertips up by your chest. Bend your legs. Jump or step your feet apart. Feet beneath your hands as your arms are extended. So start here. Lengthen from the inner knees through the lower abdomen. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips together. Extending through the inner arms, drawing from the outer elbows to the shoulders. Move the skin to the flesh, flesh to the muscle, muscle to the bone. Right? Same work. It's just the legs are wider, the arms are wider. They're in different positions. Now, turn your left foot in, turn your right leg out. Make sure your front heel is in line with your back arch, and that the right foot faces straight forward. Press into the outer rim of your back heel. Turn the front thigh from the inside out. Lift from your outer knees to your outer hips. Extend your arms away from each other. Inhale, exhale, come down. Press into the outer rim of the back heel. Turn the front thigh from the inside out. Do press the ball of the front big toe when you turn that thigh out. Don't put all the pressure on the ankle and on the outer foot. So you have to have those opposite actions there to protect yourself. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Now rotate the torso. Extend those arms away from each other. And move. Skin to the flesh. Flesh to the muscle. Muscle to the bones. Pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Other side, right foot and left leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Press into the outer rim of your back heel. Turn the front thigh from the inside out. Lift from your outer knees to outer hips. I think you'll be happier with the wider stance, Laura. If I'm wrong, then you take it back to what it was. Press the outer rim of the back heel. Extend the arms away from each other. Exhale, come down. Press into the outer rim of the back heel. Turn the front thigh from the inside out. But ensure, ensure that you're pressing the ball of the front big toe as you turn the thigh out, so that the ankle itself is neutral. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Rotate the torso, extend those arms away from each other. And then spreading that awareness through the arms and through the legs. Move the skin to the flesh to the muscle, and the muscle to the bone. Pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Jump or step your feet together. Fingertips up, bend your legs, jump or step. Drop your shoulders. Start here. Lifting from the outer knees to the outer hips, lengthen through the inner legs, lengthen through the inner arms, draw from the outer elbows to the shoulders. Move the skin to the flesh. Move the flesh to the muscle. Move the muscle to the bone. Turn your left foot and turn your right leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Pressing into the outer rim of the back heel as you turn the front thigh from the inside out. Lift from your outer knees to your outer hips. Extend the arms away from each other. Inhale. Exhale, come down. Now everyone take the top hand on your hip. We're going to work the legs first, then we'll go towards the torso and arms. So really take the back thigh back, not just the knee, but the thigh. So the top of the thigh, and from the hip press into the outer rim of the heel. Turn the front thigh from the inside out. Lift from both outer knees to outer hips. Again, ensure that you're pressing the ball of the front big toe down. Now on your legs, move from the skin to the flesh, or move the skin to the flesh. Move the flesh to the muscle, and move the muscle to the bone, squeezing. Now maintain that. Imagine there's a wall behind you. Lean on that imaginary wall behind you. So Leanne, you're taking your left shoulder and shoulder blade on that imaginary wall, but you're throwing your right one forward. Both your right and left shoulder and shoulder blades should be on your imaginary wall. Otherwise, you're overdoing it. You're over exaggerating. Are you still working your legs? Move the skin to the flesh, flesh to the muscle, muscle to the bone. Now extend the top arm up. Extend the arms away from each other. Squeeze the biceps and triceps. The hand does go on the outer leg, so you had it right. And move the skin to the flesh to the muscle, muscle to the bone in the arms. And now can you spread the awareness to have that experience in the arms and the legs? And observe your pose. Pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Take your hands on your hips for a moment. Take a breath. And then extend the arms. Right foot in, left leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Lengthen through the inner legs. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. So you're pressing the back heel. The front thigh turns out, and you're lifting from the outer knees to the outer hips. Extending the arms away from each other. Exhale, come down. Take the top hand on your hip. So the back thigh goes back. Again, don't just push the back knee back or the back shin bone back, but bring your awareness high up in the leg to the top of the thigh and take the top of the thigh back. The hip does follow. And then from your hip, press into the outer rim of the back heel. At the same time, turn the front thigh out, lift both outer knees to outer hips. Ensure that as you turn the front thigh out, that you press the ball of the front big toe. No toe gripping, by the way. And then on the legs, move the skin to the flesh, move the flesh to the muscle, move the muscle to the bone. Now lean back on that imaginary wall behind you. So both shoulders, both shoulder blades are on that wall. So we're not over exaggerating. Sometimes we tend to over exaggerate the actions. Maintain the legs, skin to the flesh, flesh to the muscle, muscle to the bone. Now extend that top arm up. Squeeze the biceps and the triceps. grip them, and then in the arms, move from the flesh to the muscle. I'm sorry, from the skin to the flesh to the muscle to the bone. And then spreading your awareness to include the arms and the legs, moving the skin to the flesh to the muscle, and the muscle to the bone. And yes, bonus points for squeezing the bones and squeezing the marrow. Observe your pose. Pull yourself up and out. Parallel your feet. Jump or step your feet together. Tadasana. And immediately here in Tadasana, lengthening the inner legs, lifting from the outer knees to the outer hips, lengthening through the inner arms, drawing from the outer elbows to the shoulders, moving the skin to the flesh to the muscle to the bone. Yes, question.
You are very, very blurry. I don't know if it's just my machine, but all of a sudden you went very blurry.
I got blurry. Let's see if we can fix that. Thank you for letting me know. Let's see if that fixes it. Did that fix it?
No. It made the very clear that are on the top, but it didn't help.
Yeah, they made it worse. It wasn't blurry before. Now it is. Now it's good for me.
All right, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, it's good.
All right. Technology and yoga. Virabhadrasana 2, warrior pose 2. Takes a lot of strength in the legs. Fingertips up. Bend your legs. Jump or step your feet apart. Start with hands on hips. Turn your left foot in, turn your right leg out. Front heel is in line with your back arch. Take the back thigh back from your hip press into the back heel. Turn the front thigh from the inside out. Lift your outer knees to outer hips. Do notice that as you turn the front thigh out, that back thigh comes forward. We were working on this the other day, right? So as you turn the front thigh out, that back thigh has to go back so that there's the opening in the pelvic area. Lift from your outer knees to your outer hips. Compact your hips together. Inhale. On your exhalation, press the back heel and bend the front leg. Keep your spine perpendicular to the floor. Please don't lean over that front leg. Now the muscle, the legs need to do a lot of work in order to stay in this position. So it's a beautiful opportunity to add the outer layers. The muscles are working. You can't do this without the muscles working. But the skin doesn't have to work. So can you move the skin to the flesh to the muscle, and then not just having the muscles work, but squeezing the bone from your muscles, using the muscles to actually squeeze the bone. And I find when I actually really work in this very focused, mindful way, full disclosure, I don't always do it. Okay, I admitted it. I can stay here a lot longer if I really pay attention to this work. Straighten the leg, come up. Parallel your feet. Right foot in, left leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Take the back thigh back, turn the front thigh up, but really take that back thigh, not just the knee, but the thigh. The hip goes back as well. From the hip, press into the heel. Turn that front thigh out without letting the back thigh come forward so that you get that opening in the pelvic area. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Compact the hips together. Inhale. On your exhalation, press the back heel, bend the front leg. Keep your spine perpendicular to the floor. Don't let the torso go over the front leg. So you can feel that the legs have to work to hold you up here, right? It's a lot of work. But now can you add the outer layers? Can you move the skin to the flesh? Can you move the flesh to the muscle? And can you use those muscles to really squeeze the bones? And some of you will find that if you do this work like this, what Chaya said before in Tadasana, where the torso got more open and lighter, some of you will find if you really work the legs like this, then the torso gets lighter. And if you don't notice that today, it's okay. I haven't taught this type of class in a very long time. Straighten the leg, come up, parallel your feet, and jump or step your feet together. And one more time, fingertips up, bend your legs, jump or step. Hands on your hips. Turn your left foot and turn your right leg out. Take your front heel in line with your back arch. Take that back thigh back. Press into the back heel. Keep the back thigh back. Turn the front thigh out. Lift from your outer knees to your outer hips. Compact the hips together. Inhale. On your exhalation, press the back heel. Bend the front leg. Keep your spine perpendicular to the floor. Now let's get the legs back so you can feel the muscles working. Move. Don't let the knee go past the ankle, Kathy. Move the skin to the flesh. Flesh to the muscles. Muscles to the bone. Squeeze. And then maintain that squeezing. Don't let it go when you add the arms. If it goes, then just take your hands back on your hips. Keep the legs this whole time because that's what's supporting you. Lengthen through the side moves. See if you can find an evenness. Then extend the arms. Now before turning your head, really extend those arms away from each other. Grip the biceps and triceps to the bone. And then move the skin to the flesh. Arms. Flesh to the muscle. Muscle to the bone. Arms and legs, squeezing from the outermost layers to the innermost layers. And now maintain that and simply gaze over your front fingertips, but mostly focusing on that squeezing of the skin to the flesh, arms and legs, flesh to the muscle, muscle to the bone. Straighten your leg, parallel your feet, take your hands on your hips. How's everybody doing so far? Right foot and left leg out. Front heel in line with your back arch. Take that back thigh back from your hip, press into the back heel. Turn the front thigh out. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Inhale. On your exhalation, bend the front leg. Keep pressing the back heel as you do so. Knee over your ankle, thigh parallel to the floor. You can feel the muscles working. Now add, move the skin to the flesh. Flesh to the muscle. Muscle to the bone. Squeeze. Now maintain that. Don't shift the awareness from your legs. You'll expand it, but don't move it from your legs. Lengthen through the side ribs evenly. See if you can get that evenness. And then extend the arms, still looking forward. Extend the arms away from each other. Grip the biceps and triceps. And then in the arms, keep the legs, but the arms, add. Move the skin to the flesh. Flesh to the muscle. Muscles to the bones. Ensuring now that both the arms and legs are doing this work. And then maintaining that in the arms and the legs, simply turn your head to gaze over your front fingertips. But don't lose anything in the arms and in the legs. Observe your pose. Straighten the leg. Parallel your feet. Are you still, you didn't move your arms. Are your arms still gripping the skin to the muscle, or skin to the flesh, flesh to the muscle, muscle to the bone, or did you give up? So just notice, you know, no need to beat yourself up, but do know that you want to get used to keeping those actions. Jump or step your feet together. Tadasana. So just check in. Are you doing the work, or are you waiting? No judgment, but we need to know what our defaults are. And then do the work. Balance evenly on the feet. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Lengthen through the inner legs. Extend through the inner arms. Draw from your outer elbows to your shoulders. Spacing your armpits here. And squeeze skin to the flesh. Flesh to the muscle. Muscle to the bones. And observe the experience of the breath, the experience of the mind as you do this work. Come onto your hands. And actually, let's go in this way. Just turn to face the side of your mat. Separate your feet. Arms forward, arms up. Hold your elbows. Inhale, come up. And exhale, come down. Uttanasana, forward bend. Let the skull release. Just doing a little bit of recovery here. Let the skull release. The legs are working. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips. Lengthen from the inner knees through the inner groins. Find that opening across the sacrum and the lower back. But do let the skull completely release. Let the brain inside the skull let go. And then let the arms go, hands on the floor, walk your feet back. And now we have to get all that work back. So press the thighs back. Press down through the balls of the first finger and thumb. Rotate the upper arms out. Lengthen through the inner arm. Draw from the outer elbow to the shoulders. Lengthen from the inner knees through the inner groins. Lift from the outer knees to the outer hips as you press your thighs back. Move arms and legs. Move the flesh, the skin to the flesh. Move the flesh to the muscle. Move the muscle to the bone. Laura, watch those front ribs again. Take the front ribs towards the back body. Yeah, there you go. Look up, walk your feet forward. Sweep your arms back. Extend your chest forward. Inhale. Come all the way up. And Tadasana. Feet together. Checking in here. Breathe. And release. Lie on your back. Take a strap. Bend your legs into your chest, both of them. Put the strap around your feet where the heels meet the arch and straighten your legs. Press the thigh bones back. Lengthen through the inner legs, from the inner thighs through the inner knees, through the inner ankles, pushing through the balls to the big toes. Draw from the outer knees to the outer hips. And in those legs, move the skin to the flesh flesh to the muscles, muscles to the bones. The abdomen is very strong here. The abdomen moves towards your spine. Now, a lot of us, when we're in this pose, we begin to take it in the neck, shoulders. So the instruction is take your outer shoulders down. So certainly do that. But you will notice that if you work the muscles of your arms in the fashion we've been working today, no death grips, please. If you work the muscles of your arms, that your neck will automatically begin to release. So straighten your arms. So you're holding up towards your feet so that your arms are straight, at least straight-ish. They don't have to be not locked elbows, but straight-ish. The upper arms do rotate out. Squeeze the biceps and triceps to the bone, and then move the skin to the flesh, flesh to the muscle, muscle to the bone. See if you can separate the arms, Sean. So one side of the strap is in each hand, if that's possible. And see if working in the arms in this way automatically helps release some of the neck. You can continue to release the neck, roll the outer shoulders down towards the floor, and then spread the awareness so that the arms and legs are both working here. And of course, the abdomen is too. Laura, take your legs away from your face. A little bit more. There you go. And then bend your knees. And take your feet on the floor. Take a breath. Right, so we think of this as an abdominal pose, which it is. But like all yoga poses, it's a whole body pose. Now, we're going to repeat this pose. Some of you will want to keep the strap because it's difficult to keep your legs up, and that's fine. And otherwise, you will put the strap to the side and extend your arms overhead. So bend your legs into your chest. If you want to use the strap, put the strap around your feet where the heel meets the arch. Otherwise, if you're not using the strap, just arms apart. You can have your hands facing up towards the ceiling and extend through your arms. And then straighten your legs, everybody. So either you're holding the strap or your arms are extended overhead. Draw your abdomen towards your spine. So yes, this is an abdominal pose. Extend through the inner legs. Draw from the outer knees to the outer hips here. Extend through the inner arms. Draw from the outer elbows to the shoulders. Biceps and triceps are squeezing. Thighs are squeezing. And on the arms and the legs. As you draw your abdomen to the spine. On the arms and legs, squeeze. The skin to the flesh to the muscle to the bone. Now take your legs, this is 90 degrees. If you're in the strap, stay in the strap where you are. Otherwise, take your legs to 60 degrees. Squeeze the thighs together. Squeeze the thighs together. Actually, if your legs are still at 90, you can also squeeze your thighs together. Squeeze the thighs together, and then arms and legs, skin to the flesh, flesh to the muscle, muscle to the bone. Now maintain that action, that awareness as you take the legs back to 90. Don't lose it. Don't come out, go to 90, and then re-get it. Maintain it. Still maintain it. Squeeze, skin to the flesh, flesh to the muscle, muscle to the bone, back down to 60. Maintain it the whole time. Of course, if you lose it, get it back up to 90. Maintain, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Then bend your legs into your chest, put your feet on the floor, and release and relax your arms. Roll to the right, come up onto your hands and knees, downward facing dog. Of course, you can use a chair or blocks or stairs. Press through the ball of the first finger and thumb. Rotate the upper arms out. Push into the floor. Squeeze the arms. Skin to the flesh. Flesh to the muscle. Muscle to the bone. Toes under. Straighten your legs. Get your beat. Even before going back in your legs, move the skin to the flesh. Flesh to the muscle. Muscle to the bones. So now you have both your arms and both of your legs working. Inhale, lengthen those arms. Exhale, maintain the squeezing as you come back into the pose. Thighs back, chest towards your thighs, hip bones towards the ceiling. And then do the work you know. Press the thighs back. Watch the front ribs lower. Press through the balls of the first finger and thumb. Rotate the upper arms out. Lengthen through the inner arms. Lengthen through the inner legs. Outer elbows to shoulders. Outer knees to outer hips. Arms and legs squeezing. Skin to the flesh. Flesh to the muscle. Muscles to the bones. And then bending your legs, allow your knees to touch the floor at precisely the same moment. Takes a lot of abdominal work. And then lie back. Arms out to the sides, bend your legs back into your chest. Keep the thighs together. Inhale, exhale, take your knees towards your right elbow. Press your right shoulder down to keep the left shoulder blade down. Thighs together. Turn your abdomen to the left as the knees go to the right. And take your left outer hip away from your left shoulder. Soft face and soft jaw. Push with your bottom leg. Inhale, come up. Take your feet on the floor. Square your hips and square your shoulders. Bend your legs into your chest. The thighs squeeze together. Inhale, exhale. Take your knees towards your left elbow. Thighs stay together. Squeeze them together, especially the bottom end to the top. Press your left shoulder down to keep your right shoulder and shoulder blade down. Turn your abdomen to the right as your knees go to the left. And take your right outer hip away from your right shoulder. Push with your bottom leg. Inhale, come up. Take your feet on the floor. Square your hips and square your shoulders. Bend your legs into your chest. Hold around. Your shins are behind your knees. And really squeeze yourself up into a little ball. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then keep holding your knees, but release the squeeze. This is a wonderful opportunity to say something kind to yourself, to say something kind to your body. Remembering the purpose of yoga is to still the fluctuations of the mind so that you can bathe in your own true splendor. Take a moment now to bathe in your own true splendor. Take your hands on the face of your knees. On your inhalation, let your legs move away from you. On your exhalation, let your legs draw towards you. Inhaling, legs moving away. Exhaling, legs draw towards you. Inhaling, legs moving away. Exhaling, legs draw towards you. So a few breaths like this. On your next inhalation, let the feet come to the floor. Straighten the legs one at a time. Let the legs go. Let the arms go. Let go for a moment. Now squeeze your hands into a tight fist. And now spread your fingers as much as they can. Wide, wide, wide. And then let your fingers come to a natural place. Let go. Now your feet don't really go into a fist, but imagine you're making a fist with your feet. And now you're lengthening your feet and toes as much as you can, like you spread your fingers. And now let go. Now with your body, I want you to imagine you're tightening your body up. So moving the skin to the flesh, flesh to the muscle, muscle to the bone, and squeezing the bones. Squeeze everything, the whole body, squeezing from the outside in. And then completely let go. 100% letting go. Soften all of your facial features, soften your throat and your jaw. Let your tongue rest on your palate, rest your eyes into your cheekbones. The arms and legs completely released, the torso surrendering to the Mother Earth below you. If you pay attention, you'll notice that you are breathing. You don't need to do anything to breathe. It's automatic, as if the breath is breathing you. Can you completely shift the awareness from the actions of today, from being the doer? We did a lot of doing today, to being the observer, the witnesser, the seer. And observe the breath breathe you. Just the breath. Nothing but the breath. Shavasana. Begin slowly coming out of your Shavasana. Take a soft, smooth, peaceful inhalation and a longer, smooth, peaceful exhalation. Look at your toes, look at your nose. Bend your legs, place your feet on the floor with your knees together, feet apart, slowly and with awareness. Place your hands onto your abdomen or onto your chest. Let the healing energy of your hands penetrate your body, pierce through your layers, and heal. When you feel ready, extend your right arm past your right ear, roll to the right. If you want to do the left side, that's fine. Rest your right ear into your right upper arm as you rest on the right side or left side. When you feel ready, take the top hand, place it on the floor in front of your heart, turn your torso towards the floor and push to come up. Come up chest first, head last. Come up to sitting, bring your palms together. Draw your eyes back and down as you turn the corners of your lips up. Taking a moment to observe your practice. What's different? What's changed? Let's close our practice together by chanting one collective Om. Deep inhalation. Om. Gently let your eyelids open. Big smile. Namaste. Bow to the divine within you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody here. Thank you, everybody at home. If anyone has any questions, let me know.
Thank you so much, John.